Good afternoon, students. In the last lecture, we have studied regarding the wastewater treatment. Now, when we start wastewater treatment, the first thing we need to do is the preliminary treatment of the sewage. What preliminary treatment involves? It involves removal of large objects like rags, plastic bags, papers, etc. That is screening, then grit removal, pre-aeration. That is followed by primary sewage treatment. Primary sewage treatment involves thickening and clarification, that is separating the solids and the liquid. So after primary treatment of sewage can be achieved by using a septic tank or an Imhoff tank or a plain sedimentation tank that we have already discussed. Now let us discuss the next part, that is secondary or biological treatment of sewage. The liquid effluent that comes out from a primary treatment plant is called as settled sewage. Now, in many situations, primary treatment that removes 50 to 60% of the suspended solids and the floating material from the, you can say, sewage is found to be adequate to meet the requirements of receiving water body. It means that after primary treatment, where we remove the suspended solid as well as the floating materials, and 50 to 60% of the suspended solids get removed by primary treatment. Such a liquid effluent coming out from the primary treatment plant is found to be adequate to meet the requirements of receiving water body. That means we can dispose it into water body after primary treatment. But in most of the cases, in most of the instances, primary treatment is not adequate to remove the suspended solids or bacteria, or you can say pollutants. Okay, I mean contaminating bacteria, etc. And hence, primary treatment should be followed by secondary sewage treatment. What are the, you can say, what can we use or how can we perform secondary or biological treatment of sewage? For the secondary treatment of sewage, trickling filters and activated sludge units are most commonly used. Okay, we can also use intermittent sand filters, but only when a high degree of clarity is required. So all in all, what I want to say is, or what is the usual practice is, primary treatment of sewage is followed or should be followed by secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is done by using a trickling filter or an activated sludge, or you can use another filters like intermittent sand filters. Secondary treatment is also known as biological treatment because microorganisms are involved in the removal of dissolved organic matter under aerobic condition. Okay, so in presence of oxygen, that is under aerobic condition, microorganisms involve the removal of, or microorganisms bring about the degradation of organic matter present in the sewage in presence of oxygen. You can use both trickling filter or activated sludge. They work on the same principle, but the method of operation is different. In trickling filter, organisms are attached to the filtration medium. That may be rock or something like that, stone. Okay, so in trickling filter, organisms are attached to the filtration medium and organic matter is brought in contact with them. Whereas in activated sludge treatment process, organisms are brought near the organic matter in the waste. Whatever may be the case, in both cases, in both units, aerobic conditions are required. The organisms utilize dissolved organic matter as nutrients and convert it into insoluble compounds, which can be later on removed during secondary sedimentation. Okay, so what are the different methods of secondary treatment? Number one, biofiltration. Okay, that means using a biofilter, like we can use trickling filter, we can use contact filters, intermittent sand filters, and rotating biological contactors. Okay, in your syllabus, we are going to discuss about trickling filter as well as RBC, that is rotating biological contactor. The second method of secondary sewage treatment is using activated sludge unit, or the third, We can also use oxidation ponds or lagoons. Now let us discuss in detail about the trickling filter. So what is a trickling filter? It is a method, it is a unit that is used for secondary sewage treatment, or you can say biological treatment of sewage. Trickling filters are the most widely used aerobic biological waste treatment systems. Okay, what is it? Aerobic biological waste treatment system that is most widely used. It is also known as biofilter or percolating filter. If you look at a trickling filter, it consists of a bed of coarse pieces of sand, stone or gravel or slag or such related material. Okay, so it's a percolating filter. It consists of a bed of coarse pieces of either stone or gravel or slag or something like that. Now there are many open spaces in between the stones or gravel layer. Okay, so there are too many open spaces in the bed of this stone or gravel or slag for the penetration of air, and hence aerobic conditions are easily maintained so that organisms in presence of oxygen can degrade the organic matter. The tank is equipped with under drainage system to remove the treated effluents. Okay. Now, the trickling filter has been described as a pile of rocks over which the sewage or organic matter, you can say the sewage or liquid waste, slowly trickle. Okay, trickling filter is described as a pile of rocks, a layer of rocks. Okay, one above the other there are layers. Okay, so a layer of rocks over which the organic or the sewage, you can say, slowly trickles. Liquid sewage is applied over the bed of rocks from fixed pipes or from rotating metal pipes. Okay, so the liquid sewage enters inside the pipe, okay, through the inlet, and then it goes to fixed metal pipes or rotating metal pipes, which we call as rotary distributor, and from the distributor the liquid sewage is applied over the bed of rock. The rotary distributor or the pipe from which sewage is applied on the bed of rock is either driven by electric motor or by hydraulic impulse. The sewage is applied at intervals such that the spraying process saturates the liquid with oxygen. The rotary distributor is so designed that the waste is discharged at uniform volume per unit area of filter surface. Okay, so what we do is initially we spray the sewage, okay, and then stop, then again spray. What happens? Sewage is applied at intervals. What it does, it saturates the liquid waste with oxygen. And we design or we adjust the rotary distributor so that the waste is discharged at uniform volume per unit of filter surface area. The waste, by the action of gravity, flows over the bed of rocks or stones and gets collected into the under drainage system. All the liquid that is collected into the main effluent channel then flows into the sedimentation tank. Okay, so what we do is through the inlet, the you can say settled sewage from primary treatment plant through the inlet goes to the distribution pipe. From the distribution pipe, the liquid waste is sprayed over the bed of rocks. The liquid slowly trickles through the bed of rocks, right? And in that bed of rocks, all the treatment of waste is done by the microorganism. And then whatever liquid flows down is collected through the tiny channels into the main effluent, or you can say into the under drainage system. From this under drainage system, the treated effluent goes to the secondary sedimentation tank. So this is the cross section of a trickling filter. Now, you can see here, this is a distribution arm. This is the distribution arm. This is the feed line or the inlet through which the settled sewage from primary treatment plant comes in. It goes up into the distribution arm. Now this distribution pipe is either hydraulically driven, it is driven by the hydraulic impulse or the pressure with which the liquid comes in, or it can be driven by an electrically operated motor. And this is a rotary distributor, so it rotates. Okay. You can say sprinkler, it is written. So the liquid waste is sprinkled over the bed of rocks. This is a bed of rocks. Okay, and there are too many void spaces, air spaces. Arrows are shown here like this. Okay, so there are too many air spaces which saturates the bed of rocks with oxygen. Now, when we sprinkle the waste, it gets mixed up with oxygen from air, and aerated sewage goes over the bed of rocks, right? And whatever liquid after treatment, the liquid effluent gets collected in this, you can say under drainage channel, or I can say low, main effluent channel, and then through the outlet it goes to the secondary sedimentation unit. Yes, you can see here this is a rotary arm spraying the sewage. Then this is the bed of rocks, inlet and outlet for the effluent. Okay. Now, the depth of rock in the filter, the depth, you can say height of the rock bed in the filter may vary from 3 feet to maximum 10 feet, or it may rise up to 14 feet. Rather, we can say it is up from 3 to 14 feet in height, the depth of the rocks. But the average depth of rocks is 6 feet. The size of the rock may range from 1 to 4 inch in a diameter. The under drainage system is actually a network of tiny channels. Through the tiny channels, the treated effluent is rapidly discharged into the main collection channel. The under drainage channel must be so designed that they carry maximum quantity of air and liquid to permit the filter to operate at its maximum efficiency. What is the theory of filtration? Basically, when you spray the liquid over the bed of rock, what happens? It gets mixed up with oxygen, and it's a practice to operate the spray for a few minutes and then turn off the spray. Okay, so first the liquid waste is sprayed over the bed of rock for a few minutes and then stop the spray. What happens? As the liquid, now you stop the spray, this liquid will flow over the rocks. Slowly it will trickle down from the top layer to the lower layer of rocks. What happens during this phase? A thin film of liquid is formed on the surface of each rock of the rock bed. And when a thin film of liquid is formed, above this thin film of microorganisms develop on the surface of rock. Okay, so a film of microorganisms develop on the surface of rock. This microbial film is called as zooglobal film or microbial film. The microbial film consists of stalked bacteria, which form important part of microbial flora in a trickling filter. Okay, so first there is a layer of liquid on the rock, and then the layer of microorganism. The microbial layer is called as microbial film or zooglobal film. What are the most important bacteria that are present, microbes that are present in the zooglobal film? Stalked bacteria. They form important part. Apart from them, protozoa, algae, fungi, and other bacteria are also present. What do the bacteria do? The bacteria that are present in the film oxidize the organic matter present in the seeping sewage. So what is our practice is we spray the sewage and stop. Let the liquid layer form, let the microbial layer form. You allow your, you can say, bed of rocks or trickling filter to get mature, okay, to get ripened. Then the spray of liquid waste is done at regular intervals. When the liquid waste seeps through the you can say pores or interstitial spaces in the bed of rocks, the bacteria that are present in the microbial or zooglobal film, they oxidize the organic matter that is present in the seeping sewage in presence of oxygen. As the sewage is subjected to biodegradation, now organisms are oxidizing the organic matter. That means they are degrading or oxidizing the organic matter. The microbial film grows and formation of new microbial cells take place. Okay, so the bacteria oxidize organic matter present in the seeping sewage in presence of oxygen, and in doing so, the number of bacteria increases, or you can say the microbial film grows. Okay, now in this first diagram, you can see this is a stone bed. You can say bed of rocks or pile of rocks. Okay. This is a rotary sewage distributor, and through this we distribute or spray the sewage. Initially we spray the sewage and stop. When we stop, a liquid film is formed on the bed of rock and microbial film. Now, when you start again distributing the liquid waste, what happens? Microbes present on the stones oxidize the organic matter present in the sewage, and in doing so, the microbial cells increase in number and the microbial film grows. This is a under drainage channel system, multi-channel, tiny channels. Through this tiny channel, the treated effluent is collected into the under drainage system, from where it goes to the secondary sedimentation. So if you look at the stone, this is the cross section of a stone. Then there is a microbial film and fixed and moving liquid boundaries. Now it is required to build up a coating of microbial flora or film or zooglobal film. Development of zooglobal film on each rock is important before the filter works efficiently. It is achieved by operating the filter over a period of weeks. So you allow the microbial film to develop. Removal of organic matter by the filter is essentially the function of what are the microbes present, what is the organic concentration of the applied sewage, what is the rock size, that means of course the microbial surface area, what is the retention time and temperature. The effluent which comes out from trickling filter after filtration has been done contains some suspended solids, because microorganisms have oxidized the organic matter, dissolved organic matter, and converted it into insoluble form. So the suspended solids are present in the effluent. They are separated before chlorination by using a secondary sedimentation tank. And trickling filter removes 80 to 85% of BOD present in the sewage. So that is all about trickling filter. And in the next presentation, we will discuss about activated sludge.